I've often heard people give very eloquent discussions on principles and ideals, but many of them are still in trouble themselves. They are unable to escape from habit patterns and from the traditional backgrounds from which we have all come in one way or another. We feel that we can do anything we want to, but we do not curb, integrate, or educate the desire structure within ourselves. Everyone today is a little bit disturbed, some very much disturbed, by the complete collapse of our social system as we know it, the failure of our political system, the disabilities of our economic structure, and the continual danger to the personal life of the individual. So out of this comes anxiety, a continually increasing negative approach to circumstances. There's hardly a day go by in which individuals do not come face to face with what to them is solid proof of the failure of their system of life. This is something that is bound to cause anxiety. But we have to also realize that these happenings are not accidents. Trying to work with this situation tells us very simply that the only cure for the problems that man causes is that man stop causing them. He must in some way change his own approach to existence. Now, headaches due to worry, anxiety, misunderstanding, misinterpretation, antagonisms of all kinds. These headaches, unfortunately, do not stay in the head. They come out into other areas of our lives. Now, if worry was what was intended, it would be unlikely that it would cause illness and be destructive to the human being. We must therefore assume that worry is not the answer. Worry is only a means of complicating the difficulty. So the problem of going around worrying, fretting, stewing, fearing everything that happens, mistrusting everyone, and in a state of perpetual criticism, this apparently is not the answer. The proof of that is that it is solving nothing and making us sick. The solution to the problem lies not only in our fears and anxieties, but in the solution of the causes of these fears and anxieties. It is useless to assume that the rest of humanity will agree with us on any subject. The only way we can stop worrying, stop fearing, stop hating, is to put a discipline upon ourselves. There is really no use in simply sharing the worries. There is no use in trying to find new worries in everything that happens in life. Now, man has been given a faculty that is probably unique in the world of nature. He has memory, a magnificent equipment that enables him to build his own solutions by remembrances of his own life. He has been given the equipment to estimate values, weigh all things, and cling to that which is good. In order to do these things, he must shift his point of security. He thinks if his worries are taken from him, he'll be happy. So he has some of them taken from him, and now he's worrying because he hasn't got the worries. That's frightening him. He thinks he must be failing in some way if he doesn't realize the seriousness of the situation. Now, one thing we have to learn to do, and that is to accept the complication as it is. The only way we can face this complex is to gradually work out in ourselves an explanation of it, a reason for it. Until we get down to facts and realize what is necessary, there will be no answer. And when we get to the point where we appreciate the answer, we realize that all the misery we've had was well worthwhile. That it was the only way that nature could educate a wayward creation. That it's the only way that nature can bring back to the prodigal children that it fashioned into realization of its wisdom and its love, is to allow these children to get into problems they cannot endure any longer, and to discover for once and for all that they cannot solve problems that are greater than themselves. Not an acceptance of the way things are, no, but an acceptance of the necessity that mankind must pass through certain experiences to outgrow his own ignorance. He does not have to have these negative thoughts. What he has to do, instead of giving up in despair, is accepting the challenge of personal change. He must make certain adjustments in himself. He must gradually release his energies from despair and despondency and focus them upon the understanding of life, the understanding of the way things must be and the way they should be, and the way they will be, regardless of what man does. If we can get to understand, therefore, that we are being disciplined, that the individual is being encouraged to correct his own mistakes and stop making other similar mistakes, the individual should begin to try to observe the working of universal law in the various occurrences of his life. He must begin to see reasons for things which he now regards as merely miseries. He must begin to realize that he lives in a world of lawful procedures and that he must abide by them. If we take in the wrong thoughts, we're going to be just as bad off mentally and physically as we would be if we eat food that is improper to our needs. The individual can be allergic to attitudes, and everyone, more or less, is allergic to negative thinking. Now, the person doesn't have to take this on. He can live in the midst of it, but he does not have to become contaminated.